Ever heard of the ring by spring? If you've spent any time in or around a Christian college, that phrase probably sends a little shiver down your spine. It's this intense, unspoken pressure to find your future spouse on campus and have a proposal locked down by graduation. It's often joked about, but let's be real. The pressure is very, very real. They even have a name for it, the Senior Scramble. It sounds like a fun game, but in reality, it's a frantic, often desperate rush to the altar that can have some pretty serious consequences. Today, we're going to unpack why this get married before graduation mindset is actually pretty toxic. So, where does this pressure even come from? Well, it's a mix of things. In many Christian communities, marriage is held up as this ultimate goal, the pinnacle of adult life. You go to college, you get your degree, and you get married. It's presented as the natural, expected progression. The college environment itself becomes a perfect storm. You're surrounded by thousands of like-minded peers, all in the same life stage. It feels like a giant 4-year singles mixer. Professors, chapel speakers, and even your parents might subtly or not so subtly hint that this is the prime time to find the one. The problem is, this creates an environment of scarcity and competition. Suddenly, dating isn't about getting to know someone. It's an interview process. Every conversation, every coffee date is weighed down by the question, is this my future husband? Or is this my future wife? You start evaluating people based on a checklist of spouse material, rather than connecting with them as a person. Do they have a good 5-year plan? Are they leadership material? Do they fit the mold of what you've been told a Christian spouse should be? It turns relationships into a high-stakes transaction, and that's the first sign that something is off. This leads us to the Senior Scramble itself. Junior year ends, and a sense of panic starts to set in for those who are still single. Senior year arrives, and it's full-blown desperation mode. You see your friends getting engaged left and right, their sparkly ring pictures flooding your Instagram feed. The ring by spring countdown is on, and you feel like you're falling behind. This fear of being left out, of being the only one walking across the graduation stage single, can make you do some irrational things. You might start to lower your standards, not in a healthy, realistic way, but in a they'll do kind of way. Red flags that you would have noticed before suddenly seem insignificant. Maybe you ignore that gut feeling that something isn't right because the alternative, graduating alone, feels so much scarier. This desperation can lead you to rush into a relationship with someone you're not truly compatible with. You're not marrying them because you can't imagine life without them. You're marrying them because you can't imagine graduating without a ring. And what happens when you marry the wrong person out of desperation? The consequences are huge. The initial relief of making it wears off, and you're left in a lifelong covenant with someone you barely know. Or worse, someone you know isn't right for you. You skip the crucial stage of actually building a deep, resilient friendship first. You didn't take the time to see how you both handle conflict, financial stress, or family drama. You fast-tracked the process and now have to deal with the fallout in real time. But with the added legal and spiritual weight of marriage, this can lead to so much heartache. Instead of growing together, you might find you're growing apart. The things you ignored during the Senior Scramble become major points of contention. You realize your core values don't align, your life goals are completely different, or you simply don't enjoy each other's company once the campus bubble has burst. This isn't just a recipe for an unhappy marriage. For some, it can sadly lead to divorce, which carries its own unique pain and stigma, especially within the church. The other side of this is marrying too young, even if it's to the right person. When you get married at 21 or 22, you're often still figuring out who you are. The person you are at 22 can be vastly different from the person you'll be at 30. You haven't had the chance to live on your own, manage your own finances, build a career, or just experience life as an independent adult. Jumping straight from your parents' house to the dorm to a marital home means you miss a vital period of personal development. This isn't about promoting a wild phase. It's about building a strong sense of self before you merge your life with someone else's. When you don't have that solid foundation, it's easy to lose yourself in the relationship or become overly dependent on your partner. Both partners need to be whole individuals to form a healthy, interdependent union. When you're still developing your own identity, that's a really difficult task. So, what's the alternative? How do we break free from this toxic cycle? First, we need to change the narrative. We need to tell ourselves and each other that being single is not a disease. It's not a waiting period. It's a valid, purposeful, and often wonderful season of life. Your worth is not determined by your relationship status. Your identity is found in who you are as a child of God, not in whether or not you have a partner. Let's celebrate singleness as a time for growth, adventure, and deep investment in friendships and community. Second, if you're dating, slow down. Just breathe. There is no deadline. God's timing is not dictated by the academic calendar. Focus on building a genuine friendship first. Get to know their character, their heart, their flaws, and let them get to know yours. Ask the hard questions, but not as an interviewer. Ask them as a friend who genuinely cares. True intimacy is built over time, not rushed in a 9-month sprint to the finish line. And finally, trust the process. If marriage is part of God's plan for your life, it will happen. Rushing it won't make it better, and it might just make it a whole lot worse. Don't let fear make your decisions for you. Don't let the pressure of a campus culture dictate the course of your entire life. The goal isn't to get a ring by spring. The goal is to build a life that honors God, whether that's single or married. And if it is married, the goal is a healthy, loving, lifelong partnership, not just a graduation accessory. That kind of marriage is worth waiting for, long after the scramble is over. Thanks so much for watching. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more conversations like this. See you next time